Well, the first race at Doomben is the Tab Class 3 Plate. It's over 1,615 metres. And I'm interested in the former Mick Price runner here in King's Full, who races for Aquis, and Casey Fogden from Aquis takes over as the trainer. I think his form is clearly superior to the opposition here. He's a 4-year-old by Galileo, an import, and he won at Cranbourne. He won a BM70 with authority, and then he was only 2.5 lengths off them in a Flemington Open handicap. And then last start at Sandown, third behind Luca Bell. Unlucky, held up at the top of the straight. Now, since had a trial, he won a recent 1,000-metre trial at Bow Desert and beat a pretty handy horse. So I think this horse is clearly the way to go. Over number 9, Seat of Power, only had but 3 starts, 2 wins, and then got onto a heavy track last start, and things just didn't work out at all. So he was beaten as an odds-on favourite. I'm sure he's better than that. Then 6 Star Silk was at 3 runs back from a spell, just about ready to strike. Good use of acclaim for Jackson Murphy. And then the grey Smoky Diamond. You've got to put him into the mix. 7, 9, 6 and 5. On to race 2, become a BRC member. It's over 2,020 metres, this handicap, and Chris Waller well represented in the small field. I think it's a great race for another dollar. Just about ready to knock in another victory. We remember her running some great races in the 3-year-old Fillies Classics a year ago. And in fact, this track and distance, she ran second in the Roses behind Young Star when leading. And I expect her to lead here, dictate, and be very, very hard to catch another dollar. Her stablemate Savakul was on that heavy 10 on Caloundra Cup Day and ran second behind Red Colour. I think a much better surface under her hooves is what she's looking for, Savakul. So she's got a really good chance here as a Quinella horse. And then Mongolian Wolf for Chris Lees, and then 5 Araja. But I think an exacta will take here, 2 from 3, and then 4 and 5. Third event on the card at Doomben is for 2-year-olds. It's over 1,200 metres. And there's some nice horses lining up here and plenty of speed. I think In Gear for Tony Gollan can make it 2 wins in a row. She was very impressive, winning a maiden at Ipswich, beating the older horses. She didn't beat a lot at all, but it was the style in which she did it. She went straight to the lead. She wanted to over-race a little bit and then was awkward turning into the straight. She wanted to hang a little bit, but once she got onto the fence, she put 4.5 lengths on them and won with plenty of gas in the tank. So I expect her to fly the gates here and give us a great sight again. Now, Woolsey, Chris Munce's runner, showed great speed to lead all the way at Bow Desert. So it could be that these two fillies stride together here. Jeff Lloyd riding Woolsey. And then I'm throwing in number 8, Karaja. Didn't have a lot of luck. Well, first up at Ipswich on Cup Day, nothing worked out. And then even last start on that heavy track over the 1,000 at the Sunny Coast, got a nasty bump at the 200 metres mark. So she's got to bounce back, but she's got the ability, as we know. And Ziemba's going for 3 wins on the trot. Blinkers are going on him first time, which is significant. And he needs them because he wasn't that sharp at Ipswich over this trip. 7, 11, 8 and 1. Coming up to race number 4 at Doomben, we've got a benchmark 70 here, over 1,350 metres. And if you've been watching the trials in southeast Queensland, I'm sure you would have marked down number 10 Sunday Session. His 2 trials have been super, never ever let go. They've kept him nice and fresh for his return to racing here. And I think he's clearly the way to go. Jeff Lloyd riding him, Toby Edmonds trains. He's ready to win. To beat number 12, Mr. Storm. I thought he was very good last start, went 5th. He was wide in that Bow Arrow race at the midweeks at Doomben a few weeks ago, and he won't be wide here from that good gate. So I think he's got a place chance. Rich Affair as well. Forget his last couple of starts. I think he's worth another chance and throwing in the mix. Charlie Cat got up last start. Couple of kilos off gate number 1. He certainly got the ability to make his presence felt. But for me, it's all about Sunday Session. 5th race on the card at Doomben is the Open Handicap over 1,350 metres. A very good race here. And I'm looking at the form through the Glass House on that heavy track at the Sunny Coast a couple of weeks ago and going Magnu Fighter ahead of Snitch. Now, could easily have gone the other way. Both of them turned in really good performances. Magnu Fighter, we know he's tough, this fella. By the way, Jack Duncan's taken the blinkers off him. He's got that good gate for Jimmy Byrne. In the Glass House, he was 5 wide exposed up on the speed. He had to tire and he did over the last 100 metres. So, look, a much better run in transit. He's that tough. I reckon he can bounce back from that. Snitch, terrific run in the eyeliner, went fourth to Man Booker. And he was great as well in the Glasshouse. He ran fifth behind River Racer, and it was a bit of a disaster for him. He was wide, and he copped a bump from Platinum Angel, who tried to get around heels, and he really rallied late. He's in great form, Snitch. So I think they're the two. Abernard definitely. He backs up here. He just didn't go last week on that rain-affected track. He never travelled at any point, so up to 13.50 is a good move, I feel. And then Auerbach, number 12, 5, 4, 2 and 12. Moving on to the first leg of the quaddie at Doomben, race 6 on the card. This is a handicap over 1,615 metres. I do like number 2, Bell Burgess. I think he finally finds a race where he can probably dictate from the front, and I think that's when he's at his best. And with the claim for Clayton Gallagher, I think he's well in, just 2.5 kilos over the minimum. That run at Eagle Farm 3 back behind Noble Boy was super. And he was wide in the eyeliner, and then last start he ran fourth of the Sunny Coast behind Red Colour on that very heavy track. I think back up on top of the ground, I think he's a great chance here. We back him all day each way to beat number 5, Ledude. Now, he was super last start. He took off a long way from home in the race won by Victory 8 at the Sunny Coast. I thought he was terrific, and even his prior run at Ipswich was great, so he goes in the mix. Number 10, Char Char's got a good gate here. He's usually obliged to race wide, this fella. He won't know himself, Char. He's pretty tough. He won't give up. And number 7, Victory 8's in career best form right now. 2, 5, 10 and 7. So we kick off the quaddie here at Doomben. And it's a pretty tough day with good sized fields. So I've had to really load the quaddie up and maybe take it for a smaller percentage. On to race 7 on the card at Doomben. We've got the 1,200 metre race coming up here, and I'm pretty keen on the chances on Snipstream. He's only lightly raced with a really good wind strike rate. Ducky Baker's got him going really well, so much so that he was well back to win on Caloundra Cup Day. But he got himself strung up in the gates, got himself cast, so they decided to scratch him. He's since had a soft trial, went around, and that'll just have him tuned up again here. I think he's very hard to beat, got a good gate. This looks a really good race for him. Bow Arrow, he's racing very well. He loves to be ridden cold and come with one run in the home straight. He has since trialled at Bow Desert. I thought the trial was good without being anything special. Number 7, Removal, on a backup from Wednesday. He got onto quite a wet track there on Wednesday. He just ploughed through the ground. He's a real duck, this fellow. So improving track conditions, probably not ideal for him, but he's still going to get a bit of jar out of it. He's in great form. And then Coral Bay. Now, last time he was fresh, he put together a few wins. 3, 4, 7 and 5. Race 8 on the card at Doomben is for the fillies and mares. It's over the 1,200 metres, and I think one of the most interesting runners for me all day is number 14, Pippi, trained by Team Ma. We haven't seen this 3-year-old filly for around about 11 months, since August of last year. She was only beaten 2 lengths in the Cosette at Caulfield behind Sunlight, and did start a $3.80 favourite. Prior to that, she ran second at Moonee Valley behind Multaja. But most importantly, she ran second in a recent Doomben trial. Robbie Fradd rode her, and he was literally swinging off her the entire way, never ever let her go. It seemed as though she had a full tank of fuel at the end. So I think she's a yard watch, and keep an eye on the market, but she's got the inside gate for Ronnie Stewart. She looks well above average when you're looking at that kind of form. Number 3, Jardin Rouge. Now, she's a very, very talented mare as well. 8 starts, 5 wins. And she's won those 5 on the trot. Now, again, she's got a nasty alley, like she had first up at Ipswich, when she was just too good for the opposition there, overcoming that wide gate. Number 12, Flower of Love's in great form at the moment. Since moving to Kelly Sweeter's stables, all the starts for Kelly have been good. She found the line strongly last start to get up and beat Not On Your Nelly at Eagle Farm. And then number 10, Winter Passage. She's got a nice gate here, and I think the track conditions are going to suit her. So 14, 3, 12 and 10 in race 8. Terrific race coming up at Doomben as race 9 on the card for the 3-year-olds over 1,200 metres. With these horses about to turn 4, it's pretty much last opportunities to pick up the extra cutest prize money. I think Rock Beat is going to be very hard to beat. If you have a look at that race on Ipswich Cup Day, which was a month ago, when he finished his race strongly there, beaten, 1 length behind Spirit's Choice. I'm sure you'll agree with me, it was the run of the race. He came from last and he was powering home late. I like him kept a little bit fresh. A bit of give in the ground is going to suit him as well. I think he's very hard to beat here, Rock Beat number 5. Now, other chances here. 7, Desert Digby, won recently at the Ipswich midweeks, but he's 4th up. He's fully fit now. He's got a good gait with Jimmy Byrne in the saddle. Definitely goes in. Granny Red Shoes has been trotting well for Jeff Lloyd. This is Jeff's last ride throughout an extraordinary career, so I hope she runs well, Granny Red Shoes. At her best, she can certainly win this. And then I've got F Troop in the mix, but there are a few other chances as well. Rock Beat for me, though, in the last.